Disclaimer: all names used in this video are fictitious to protect the privacy of the respective person. Hello, we're a young Portuguese couple, and I'm here to tell you a bit about our story, how you can help us, and where we go from here. You can call me Sarah and my partner John, and everything started around 6 or 5 years ago. Even before COVID, we had started thinking about buying a home and taking the next big step in our lives, starting a family, something we had always dreamed of. But with COVID, we realized that we really needed to move forward with that decision because the apartment we live in is tiny. If there isn't even enough space for us, how could we have space for a baby? So we started looking for a house to buy. We browsed listings online and quickly realized we didn't have a lot of money. Then we immediately began to see house prices skyrocket, and we got really worried. We reached out to real estate agencies, hoping for help, but didn't get much. Quite the opposite. We began to realize that they were just trying to scam us and take advantage of us to manipulate the market. They demanded all our financial information, asked us for 500 euros up front, claimed they were sending our offers to property owners but weren't. They often showed us homes that didn't meet our criteria, and to increase our anxiety and desperation, they would only tell us about homes we liked once they were already sold or reserved. We also found out that it was common practice for agents to buy homes themselves under a different name, quit the agency, create a new company, and resell the property at a much higher price, dodging taxes in the process. Sadly, we also learned that many agencies function like a cartel, which is illegal in Portugal, even though they deny it, and that many operate under pyramid-like schemes, also illegal, all while inflating prices to pocket more commission. Tired of being scammed and feeling stuck in life, we decided to take things into our own hands. We started writing letters and leaving them in the mailboxes of houses we liked, hoping that the owners would contact us if they were interested in selling. I began to wander through Google Maps, searching for homes in our preferred area, and I quickly found a beautiful house that seemed to be exactly what we were looking for. So about every 2 weeks we'd go out to the houses we had identified and leave a letter in the mailbox. On the first week we did this, we got one single phone call from a man, Mr. Robert, owner of that very first house that had captured our hearts. Mr. Robert told us he wasn't interested in selling, but he kindly said he was a builder, and if we ever considered building a house, he could help. On one hand, we were disappointed, but we were also deeply grateful because he was the only person who took the time to respond us and provide some help. It was a stressful time. We ended up delivering 74 letters and only got around 7 responses, and they were all negative. We never knew if someone would call or not, or if they'd say yes or no. So since no houses were showing up, we began to consider building our own home. But every time we ran the numbers, building seemed just as expensive as buying, only that it took way more time, and we were already running out of time to start a family. So we returned to looking for houses to buy. This cycle happened twice. The second time we considered building, we actually began negotiating with a landowner. As things progressed, I decided to reach out to Mr. Robert to ask some questions about the building process. I went to the house and rang the bell a few times, but no one answered. A few weeks later, John was talking with a colleague about building a home, and he said that Mr. Robert had died. We were shocked. We thought, how could that be? I had just gone there recently. Or wasn't it just last year that we spoke to him? Although we were saddened by his passing, I felt like it might be a sign. Still, we had to move on and continue the process of buying the land. Unfortunately, the landowner wouldn't sell at a price we could afford. He wanted more, but if we spent too much on the land, we wouldn't have enough left to build the house. So we went back to house hunting, but now There were even fewer and expensive houses on the market. Feeling more and more sad and desperate, I decided to try to contact the family of Mr. Robert to express my condolences and ask if they might consider selling. Finally, we managed to reach the family, and incredibly, they had a lot in common with us, which felt like another sign. Thankfully, they were interested in selling. Yes, our dream house, we thought. The current owner, Mr. Robert's ex-wife, Mrs. Mary, kindly showed us the house. It was exactly what we wanted. But we got a bit scared because the house was in very poor condition. It almost looked like there had been an earthquake inside. Aside from some mold, nearly all the walls are cracked. There's a leak in the bathroom and the windows need replacing. Mr. Robert had been living there alone for 15 years, and so the house was allowed to deteriorate. But it truly was the house we wanted. The only thing left was to find out the price. Unfortunately, Mrs. Mary told us she had already spoken with a real estate agency, and that immediately seemed like bad news. And yes, the agency gave her a price much higher than the actual value, and more than we can afford. But in Portugal, people have to pay a percentage of the sale to the agency, and so Mrs. Mary wasn't very interested in going through them. That allowed us to negotiate the price down to something a bit more reasonable. Still, it's a lot of money considering how much work the house needs. We've already collected quotes and requested a structural assessment to make sure the issues aren't serious. Sadly, the estimates range from 50,000 euros to 75,000 euros, plus the cost of new windows, which is a lot for us. So we've created this crowdfunding campaign to ask for some help. We have part of the money, but not all of it. And given our age, I'm 34 and John is 40, we want to have children as soon as possible, which will be another huge expense. That's why we're in a bit of a hurry. Even so, we want to go ahead with the purchase and try to do some of the work ourselves to save money. Unfortunately, the process is getting delayed because of a bureaucratic issue with the city council, and that's stressing us out. We're already in spring, and we should have started some repairs by now to take advantage of the good weather. To balance our expenses, this year we need to renovate one bathroom, replace the windows, clean and repair existing fixtures, and buy furniture and appliances, because right now we barely have anything. We live in a tiny rented apartment and we just have a sofa, a TV, and few small appliances. Everything else belongs to the owner of the apartment, so we'll need to buy essentials, like a bed, a table and chairs, a fridge, a microwave, a washing machine, etc. It's going to be a very hard journey. Besides this crowdfunding, I've also tried to sell some of my things, but I've barely sold anything, and it's still far from what we need. That's why I'm asking for your help. I've already shared the campaign with many people, but we haven't received many donations yet. I'm not sure if it's because people don't know how the site works, or if they simply can't help. Just to clarify, I want to briefly explain how it works. On my phone, the website is a bit slow, and the donate button takes some time to appear, but here you can see the campaign description. Leave your support, check our updates, share the campaign, and make your donation. By clicking the Donate button, you can choose a preset amount or enter an amount of your choice. Then you just need to select the payment method and complete the donation. So far we've managed to raise 25 euros, and we've already used that to buy our first tools. We also plan to share videos of our renovation journey to keep you updated. Hopefully the City Council will speed up its part so we can finally begin this new chapter in our dream house. Cross your fingers for us. Well, this video has gotten quite long, but I hope I've explained everything you need to know. I truly thank you for your support, and I hope to hear from you soon. For now, goodbye, and don't forget to donate or leave your support. See you soon.